Good morning, students. Welcome in the first lecture of fourth semester English. Today, we will study the first play, The Envoy, written by Bhash. The play related to the incident of Mahabharata, where the armies of Pandavas and Kauravas stand face to face in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, but Pandavas do not want to fight war with their brothers, so a last bid made by Yudhishthira to avert the war I am pronouncing here, it is WAR, generally we pronounce war, but the correct pronunciation is wo. So don't get confused. Further, I will be pronouncing it as wo. So the war of Kurukshetra and Yudhishthira, the eldest Pandav prince, actually do not want to actually doesn't want to fight war with their own brothers, the Kauravas. So, in a last bid to avert war, he requests Lord Krishna as an envoy and request him to visit and send a proposal of peace with their brothers Kauravas. So, Lord Krishna, as an envoy, visits the court of Kauravas, and further what happens there, that's all the story relates about. When the play opens, we see that Crown Prince Duryodhana is likely to enter his court, and he has summoned a meeting of all the princes and courtiers to discuss a special issue of who shall be made the commander in chief of the 11 armies which he is adding. So he has convened a meeting. So the play opens with Duryodhana, also called in the play Suyodhana. So he enters his court and he has convened a meeting of all the princes and courtiers. At the same very moment, Chamberlain enters and he announces that Lord Krishna has come to visit them. At this, Duryodhana thinks how to receive him. The Chamberlain says that Krishna, the best of men, has arrived. At this, at this, Duryodhana gets angry and he scolds Chamberlain not to call him the best of men. He says he is merely a cowherd. The Chamberlain asked his forgiveness, and now Duryodhana instructs the princes and the courtiers not to stand up as a mark of respect when Lord Krishna enters. At this, the whole house is confused because internally each and every courtier and prince wish to respect Lord Krishna, but outwardly they have been warned by Duryodhana not to stand up, otherwise they would be fined. So now Duryodhana thinks that when Lord Krishna will enter, in which way he should receive him. He doesn't want to respect him, rather, he wants to insult him. So, what he thinks, what way will be appropriate to receive him, and finally he gets the idea. He says to the chamberlain to bring the picture in which Draupadi is being dragged by hair by Dusasana. So that painting he orders to be spread out in front of him on the table, and he thinks that he will remain busy looking at the picture, and rather so interestingly that others will have impression that he is lost in something very interesting. So, as per the plan, the picture is brought, the painting is brought, and Duryodhana is lost in that. And now he orders Chamberlain to bring Lord Krishna, the envoy, in. Lord Krishna enters. At this, the princes are in a state of confusion because they respect Lord Krishna, but they are instructed not to stand up. Duryodhana himself, who is lost and who doesn't want to stand in respect, so Lord Krishna enters and greets Duryodhana. In response, Duryodhana doesn't stand up, but with the magic of the might of Lord Krishna, his throne is shaken and he feels likely to be fell down. And in this way, Lord Krishna enters in the court. As an envoy, Lord Krishna now proposes or conveys the message of Pandavas to Duryodhana. He says his brother Yudhishthir and other Pandavas has wished Duryodhana well-being, has wished Duryodhana and his people well-being and prosperity. And further, the envoy starts conveying his message. He says that Yudhishthira has wished not to fight war against their own brothers. He wished that the inheritance should be divided. Krishna says that since Pandavas has suffered a lot and now it's the appropriate time to divide the inheritance and to avoid the war. At this Duryodhana questions what type of inheritance, and he even refuses to recognize Pandavas as their own brothers or kinsmen. He says they are the sons of God and hence they do not belong to their clan and hence no question of division of inheritance arises. Sri Krishna tries to convince Duryodhana that his court is magnificent. He has a big army and his court is splendid, full of wealth, horses, elephants, and everything is so splendid. But if the war is not avoided, if the war takes place between Pandavas and Kauravas, the whole Kuru clan will be destroyed and nothing will remain. He wants Duryodhana to avoid this self destructing situation. But Duryodhana, in spite of getting convinced with the argument of Lord Krishna, he further outrages, he insults Krishna, he calls him cowherd, and he says, you are not fit to be spoken with. And further, he says that kingdoms are not obtained by begging, or kingdoms are not even given in charity. Kingdoms are won by the kings by fighting and proving their bravery. So, if the Pandavas want the share of kingdom, they should fight war and they should get it by proving their bravery, their courage, and they should fight for it. Otherwise, they should become monks and go in the forests. Lord Krishna realizes that this man is weak, adamant, and it's not possible to convince him. So he says that he wants to leave. But at this, Duryodhana orders to arrest Krishna. He wants to imprison him. At this, he orders his brothers, warriors, to arrest Lord Krishna. But none of them had any craze to do this. At this, Duryodhana himself tries to imprison, tries to arrest Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna at this assumes a universal form, and Duryodhana finds everywhere around a number of Krishnas. He says that one day he will kill Krishna with his arrows. At this, Lord Krishna gets angry. He calls Sudarshan Chakra, the divine disc, the divine weapon by which once he had cut the neck of Sisupal. So he calls that divine weapon, that divine disc, Sudarshana. Sudarshana appears in human form. He salutes Lord Krishna, he prays, and he says, what the Lord orders, he will do within seconds. And he prays Lord Krishna to tell him the purpose for which he has been called for. Lord Krishna orders Sudarshana to kill Duryodhana and destroy this core kingdom. At this, Sudarshana prays to Lord Krishna that he has come on this earth for the welfare of this mankind and not to kill anyone. So, Sri Krishna rethinks, realizes, and he orders Sudarshana to return back to his abode. And he leaves from there. At this, King Dhritarashtra falls. King Dhritarashtra, the Kuru king, appears and falls in the feet of Lord Krishna, begs for the insolent behavior of his son Duryodhana, and he asks pardon and forgiveness from Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna forgives him and proceeds. So here the play ends. Now we will go through textual questions. First is, who convenes the meeting of the princes? So it's very clear, Koro prince Duryodhana convenes the meeting to discuss about the coming war with Pandavas and also to decide the issue who shall be the commander-in-chief of mighty group of 11 armies. What is the purpose of meeting? The purpose of meeting is to review the preparedness of war, coming war, and also to discuss the vital issue who shall be the commander-in-chief of these 11 armies. Next question, where is the grandfather seated? The grandfather is seated on the lion's throne. Who is the envoy and what is the purpose of his visit? Lord Krishna is the envoy, and the purpose of his visit to bring out some sort of reconciliation between the Pandavas and the Kauravas, the brothers belonging to same clan, and to avert war and in this way destruction. How does Duryodhana plan to receive the envoy? Duryodhana plans to receive the envoy in a very insulting way. He instructs the princes not to stand up as a mark of respect to Lord Krishna when he enters the court. He himself plans to be busy and lost in a picture which is spread out on the table in front of him, depicting Draupadi being dragged by hair by Dusasana. How does Duryodhana busy himself during the entrance of the envoy? During the entrance of envoy, Duryodhana is busy and lost in a picture with beautiful colors, and the picture depicts Draupadi being dragged by Dusasana in the court. Why are Duryodhana's warriors confused at the entrance of Krishna? Duryodhana's warriors are confused at the entrance of Lord Krishna because the warriors by heart they respect a lot Lord Krishna, but they were they were instructed by Duryodhana not to stand up when Krishna enters. So, this sort of inner struggle, inner conflict results in confusion. What is Duryodhana's response to the Pandavas' plea for the division of inheritance? What is Duryodhana's response to the Pandavas' plea for the? Yes, Duryodhana rejects Pandavas' plea for the division of inheritance. He says that kingdoms are neither begged nor given in charity. Kingdoms are won by the brave kings in the war. Hence, if they want the share in the kingdom, they should win it by fighting, and if they cannot do that, then they should become monks and go to the jungles and live the life of monks. Next question. What do the Pandavas brothers seek from the Kuru clan? Yes, the Pandav brothers seek their share in the inheritance, paternal inheritance, and for that they have requested through the envoy Lord Krishna, but Duryodhana rejects their plea. Why does Duryodhana call Krishna a cowherd? A cowherd, as the word signifies, is the one who grazes cows and who loves cows. But here, since Lord Krishna loved cows and he grazed cows, so there is nothing wrong in calling him cowherd. But here, Duryodhana calls him cowherd as a mark of insult. He wants to insult Lord Krishna and he calls him a cowherd. What does now some long answer questions? Krishna's visit as an envoy stands for peace and reconciliation between the Pandavas and the Kurus. Yes, Lord Krishna's visit in the court of Duryodhana is for peace and reconciliation. On the request of Duryodhana and Pandav brothers, he agrees to become an envoy and carry forward the message of peace and reconciliation to the court of Duryodhana. He visits as an envoy. He tries to convince Duryodhana by his logic that the parental inheritance is to be divided, and that is the law of justice, and Duryodhana should honor it, and Duryodhana should divide the inheritance. Duryodhana should give the due share in the kingdom to his own brothers, the Pandavas, and in this way he should have peace with his brothers and he should avoid the war which is inevitable and that will destroy the splendid, the magnificent, the kingdom, the Kuru kingdom. He tries to convince Duryodhana, he tries to warn also, but Duryodhana, who is a wicked person, who is an adamant person, who doesn't try to understand, the destructive consequences of the war, and he rejects the plea. And not only rejects the plea, he doesn't recognize the Pandavas as his kinsmen, and he doesn't stop even here. He further calls Sri Krishna cowherd, he insults him, and the effort, the sincere effort as an envoy by Lord Krishna to strike peace and conciliation between Pandavas and the Kurus proved futile, and the war takes place, as we all know. And in the war, in the battle of Kurukshetra, what happened between Kauravas and Pandavas, we all are aware of this great destruction. Next question: how does Bhasa personify Sudarsana? Yes, when Duryodhana insults Lord Krishna and Lord Krishna tries to leave the court of Kauravas, but Duryodhana orders to arrest him. At this, Lord Krishna becomes angry and he summons Sudarsana, the divine disk, to appear and kill Duryodhana. At this, Sudarsana appears in human form. He respects Lord Krishna. He prays his Lord to disclose the order which he has to carry out. And when Sudarsana came to know that he had to kill Duryodhana, at this he requests Lord that, Lord, you came on this earth for the welfare of the human beings and not for any killing and destruction. At this, Sri Krishna realizes and orders Sudarsana to return to his abode. So, Sudarsana here appears in human form. His behavior is like human beings, persons, and so in this way, Bhas has personified Sudarsana, who is actually the divine weapon, the disc by which, at one incident, Lord Krishna had ordered and Sudarsana, that chakra, had cut cut the neck of Shishupala. Why does Dhritarashtra apologize to Krishna? Yes, when Duryodhan insults and infuriates Lord Krishna, Lord Krishna is in rage, and at this juncture, the Kuru king Dhritarashtra understands the consequences and he fears the total destruction of Kuru kingdom, and for this reason he falls at the feet of Lord Krishna and asks for forgiveness for the insolent behavior of his son, and at this Lord Krishna forgives the king Dhritarashtra and he returns to the the Pandava camp. Some of the Pandavas announced to describe by Krishna. Yes, Sri Krishna as an envoy fully narrates in the court of Duryodhana that how Pandavas are infuriated, how Pandavas are annoyed because they have already suffered a lot. They are his brothers, they belong to the same race, same clan, and Duryodhan must understand that Pandavas are his kinsmen, and in this kingdom they also had a share. So it will be the right, it will be the true justice that the inheritance should be divided between Kauravas and Pandavas. So the sufferings, the annoyance, the troubles of Pandavas have fully been explained by Lord Krishna as an envoy in the court of Duryodhana, who is referred to as the lotus-eyed Lord. Why is he angry? Lord Krishna is referred here as the lotus-eyed Lord, and he is angry because Sri Krishna rejects Pandava's plea of peace and reconciliation. Duryodhana rejects Pandava's plea for the division of inheritance. So, Lord Krishna is very much angry, and also Duryodhana did not behave like a prince or like a king, and he doesn't leave any opportunity unturned to insult Lord Krishna. So, with this, I hope you have understood the play. Actually, play is not meant for reading or for instructing. It is actually is to be staged on the platform, on the stage, and the parts of the different characters are to be played and is to be staged on a platform. So that is the right way of understanding, but still I hope you have understood this play taken as an incident from Mahabharata. Thank you very much.